Good morning, everybody. Okay, only 13 students joined. Let it be. We will start. As yesterday, half an hour was lost because of the network connectivity, I decided to go for today's lecture. Okay. So where we are, wall, it was completed, no? All the walls we have finished. Then we have discussed the stresses acting upon the pipe. Okay, what are the different stresses acting upon the pipe? These are the internal water pressure, external pressure due to overburden, then temperature stresses, then water hammer pressure, then longitudinal stresses due to flow around bends, and stresses due to foundation. So this part we have started discussed, and I think we have started economical diameter of pumping main. Okay, in the economical diameter of pumping main, you can see here economical diameter of pumping main. If the diameter of pumping main is decreased, it will increase the velocity of flow, and because of the increasing velocity of flow at the given discharge or the fixed discharge, both friction head and the velocity head will increase, and this will again increase the total dynamic head. So to overcome that problem, we can find out the optimal diameter of pipe, which will give the same fixed discharge whatever we want. At the same time, it will be not that much uneconomical. So both the agendas can be followed, like this type of optimal diameter we need to select. So that is nothing but the economical diameter of pumping main. So the proper definition, if we ask about the economical diameter of pumping main, is nothing but the pumping main diameter must choose in such a way which will minimize the pumping cost along with the annual maintenance. This diameter is known as the economical diameter of pumping main. Okay, so I think yesterday you have noted down the definition of economical diameter of pumping main. Then to determine the economical diameter of pumping main, Lee has developed the empirical formula, and that formula is nothing but D is equal to A into under root Q. D is nothing but the diameter of the pipe through which we are going to send the water, and A is the factor which we can take 0.97 to 1.22. Then Q is the discharge to be pumped. Okay, so by using this equation, we can determine the economical diameter of pumping main. So through this figure, it is trying to demonstrate what is the exactly meaning of economical diameter of pumping main. So we on x-axis we can go for the annual cost, and y-axis we can go for the diameter of pumping main. And such an optimal pipe case, optimal diameter which we can take, which will save our cost as well as which will give the better results in the form of discharge. Okay, so this is nothing but the economical diameter of pumping main. So up to this we have finished in the last lecture. I hope you have drawn this figure. If you have not drawn, please draw it little fast and then we'll go for the next. If you have drawn already, let me know. I will go move ahead. Have you drawn it or do you want to draw it? 14 participants. No one is talking. Am I audible, guys?
ग्राफ मध्ये काय लिहिलेलं आहे तर लोवेस्ट COSD.
Snehal, you are asking lowest cost. At this lowest cost, you are going to get this diameter. Okay, you can say here diameter may be from 1 to 100. Okay, meter, centimeter, millimeter, whatever is you can decide. And at the same side here, annual cost of that diameter, annual cost of this pumping main, it may increase from 1 rupees to thousands rupees, whatever. And you can take such a midpoint where the cost is low as well as diameter also we are getting sufficient. Okay, जर इथं diameter घेतला, समजा इथला डायमीटर घ्यायचा झाला तर एक तर आपल्याला कॉस्ट वाढतीये, बरोबर आहे का, तर त्याची वेलॉसिटी हेड वाढते आणि म्हणून कॉस्ट वाढते आणि त्यामुळे आपण हा डायमीटर चूज नाही करत आहे. मग आता इथली केस घेतली आपण, इथला जर डायमीटर घ्यायचा झाला तर अगदी मोठा डायमीटर मिळतोय, पण जितका तुम्ही डायमीटर परत वाढवत जाईल, म्हणजे एक तर खूप कमी डायमीटर असला की तो हेड वाढल्यामुळं कॉस्ट वाढती, किंवा दुसरी केस काय आहे की एक खूप डायमीटर आहे, खूप मोठा डायमीटर आहे आणि ते खूप मोठ्या डायमीटर मध्ये मटेरियल कॉस्ट वाढते. आलं का लक्षात? हेडचा प्रॉब्लेम येत नाही पण मटेरियल कॉस्ट वाढते आणि म्हणून त्या दोन्हीच्या ऐवजी जिथं असं होईल की तुमचा मटेरियल कॉस्ट पण नाही वाढणार आणि हेड वाढल्यामुळे पण कॉस्ट नाही वाढणार, अशा पद्धतीचा डायमीटर की जेणेकरून युअर प्रोग्राम गेट सक्सेडेड. आलं लक्षात? त्याला म्हणायचं ऑप्टिमल. कुठलाही प्रोडक्ट ऑप्टिमायझेशन तुम्ही कधी शिकला नसेल कदाचित, त्यामुळे ते तुमच्या लक्षात येत नसेल. कुठल्याही प्रोडक्टचं कुठल्याही गोष्टीचं ऑप्टिमायझेशन करायचं झालं तर त्याला जे काही कुठले फॅक्टर्स असतील तुमचे, इट मे बी इकॉनॉमी इज द वन फॅक्टर, अनदर इज द इफिशियन्सी फॅक्टर, नेक्स्ट मे बी द टाइम रिक्वायर्ड फॅक्टर. मग जर तुम्हाला त्या समजा एक मग बनवायचा आहे, कॉफी मग बनवायचा आहे आणि त्याचा ऑप्टिमल कॉस्ट तुम्ही ऑप्टिमायझेशन करताय त्या कॉफी मगचं, मग कॉफी मगचं ऑप्टिमायझेशन करत असताना समजा तुम्ही 1 लिटरचा मग बनवायचा ठरवला, म्हणजे साईज खूप मोठी झाली आणि साईज मोठी झाल्यामुळे काय होते की मटेरियल कॉस्ट वाढते, बरोबर आहे. मटेरियल कॉस्ट वाढते आणि तुमचं मग पण त्याला इफिशियन्सी वाढली, तुमचं 1 लिटर वरती गेलं ना, बरोबर आहे का. मग त्याच्याऐवजी ऑप्टिमॅलिझम तुम्ही कसं कराल की थोडीशी कॉस्ट पण कमी झाली पाहिजे आणि इफिशियन्सी पण मेंटेन करता आली पाहिजे. मग त्याला लागणारा मटेरियल तर तो थोडासा पातळ करूया आपण. पातळ केला तर तो काही फुटणार आहे का, किती पातळ करू शकतो की जेणेकरून आपली मटेरियल तेवढं कमी लागेल आणि मटेरियल कॉस्ट कमी होईल, पण त्यांची 1 लिटरची कॅपॅसिटी पण तशीच ठेवता येईल. अशा पद्धतीने जेव्हा मिड पॉइंट काढायचा प्रयत्न करतो आपण त्याला म्हणायचं ऑप्टिमायझेशन. ओके, सो हियर ऑल्सो economical diameter of pumping main means we are going for the optimization of that particular pipe. Clear, Sonali? Is that clear, Sonali? Or Snehal? Sorry,
Yes, ma'am.
as asked. Okay, thank you. I will proceed now. Distribution reservoir, service storage, necessity, location and design. This is the last part of this chapter. Now, what is this distribution reservoir? Distribution reservoir, actually, I told you in the section 1, we have studied about the source, then different types of properties of water, then as per property, what kind of treatment we can give. As per property in the sense, I told you there is a different treatment process for the groundwater and different treatment process for the surface water. If it is the groundwater, its properties are different. If it is surface water, its properties are different. Accordingly, we need to change the treatments. Okay, so what happens when we go to doctor? Whatever if I have a fever, he will change because this is a property. Fever is a property to me. That this is property to me. So he will give me different report, different medicine, or he will ask me for the different types of analysis, blood analysis or sugar analysis, blood analysis, urine analysis. And if another one patient came and that he is having different disease, he may have a headache, his treatment will be different. Likewise, in a water or wastewater treatment plan, we are going for as per the characteristics of water, we can change the treatments. So that part we have studied in a first section. Then we, in the first section itself, we have studied about the treatment to the water, okay, by using the different unit operations and unit processes. In that we studied aeration, flocculation, coagulation, sedimentation with coagulation, tube settler, is it? Then filtration, different types of filters, then disinfection, different types of disinfection methods. So this part we have studied in a first section. Now it's a time to provide the water to the public in a second section. So that's why in a first chapter, initially we have studied about what kind of accessories are required, background process system is required to make available treated water to public. Means how to transport that water we have studied. But transportation after treatment, immediately transportation of water is quite difficult. Why it is quite difficult? कारण तुमचा treatment rate may get vary, and as treatment rate may get vary, how we can go to provide the water with varied rate to the public. So instead of that, what we do, treated water is being stored in a reservoir, and then from that reservoir the water will be made available for the public. So that is nothing but the distribution reservoir. So what is that distribution reservoir? A distribution reservoir is a small storage reservoir to tide over the peak demand of water for municipal water supply or irrigation. The distribution reservoir is helpful in permitting the pumps to work at a uniform rate. It stores water during the period of lean demand and supplies the same during the period of high demand. Yesterday, I had given to you an example that suddenly there is a Wari festival at Pandharpur. So the demand of water increasing 100 times, 10 times, 50 times. But at that time, we cannot increase the rate of filtration, rate of coagulation, rate of sedimentation. We cannot go for. If we go for that, increasing the rate suddenly in the treatment process, we need to compromise with the quality, because the efficiency of treatment plant is not like this, is it? So that's why instead of changing the rate of treatment in a treatment plant, on regular days you can keep on treating and you can keep on storing the extra quantity of water which we can make available during the sudden requirements. Okay, there are the different types of demands that we are going to study in next. So once again, here properly defined what is the distribution reservoir. A reservoir, the distribution reservoir is also called as the service reservoir. Connected with the distribution system. What is the distribution system? That also we are going to study in a chapter number 5. Or a water supply project and stores the treated water for supplying water during emergencies, and also to help in absorbing the hourly fluctuations in normal water demand. Okay, so in the earlier lecture, in the first chapter, we have studied the variations in a water demand. बरोबर आहे, सकाळी सकाळी वॉटरची रिक्वायरमेंट खूप हाय असते, तर त्याच्यानंतर 11 पासून साधारणपणे 4 वाजेपर्यंत ती कमी होते, परत 4 पासून थोडी थोडी वाढायला सुरुवात होते, 8 वाजेपर्यंत ती पीक पॉइंटला जाते, परत कमी होते. दॅट इज आवरली डिमांड. So that hourly demand can also be coined by using the if there is a reservoir is available. Otherwise, if directly you are supplying, it will be quite difficult. Okay, so you can go for this. Please write down this distribution reservoir definition, then I will go for the next point. If you have done, let me know so we can move forward. Have you done, guys? Let me know over or not yet.
Yes, ma'am, over.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now, what are the different types of distribution reservoir? So these are the ground storage reservoir. It is also known as GSR. Elevated storage reservoir, it is known as the ESR. And the surface storage reservoir, it is SSR. Okay. Usually ESR and GSR being used. If required, SSR is also being constructed. So underground or the GSR, how it looks, you can see here. Under the ground, it can be constructed only opening and the manhole can be provided at the top through which we can enter and we can go for the maintenance if required. Otherwise, the capacity of this may be very big. You are not able to see, but it may be big enough to provide, save the huge amount of quantity for the supply during the non-availability period or during the high fluctuation period. Okay, so this is GSR, ground storage reservoir, where we can store. Means the treatment plant and GSR may be at the same level, and hence from after treatment you can directly send water to GSR for storage purpose. And from GSR, whenever we require, we can take it into the ESR, because the capacity of ESR is 10 times less than the GSR. Because GSR, there is no issue to construct a big capacity GSR. But ESR, we have limitations. You know that we need to construct and again there is a cost effectiveness and then it's a strength. All factors need to be considered. But GSR is a proper storage reservoir in which simply we can store after the treatment. Why we need to construct the ESR if GSR is available? Where are the GSR and ESR both are required, or one of them is sufficient? That may be the question. तुम्ही कोणी विचारला नाही तरी पण मी सांगते. काय क्वेश्चन आहे की GSR असेल तर ESR बांधायची गरज आहे का, किंवा नुसता ESR असेल तर GSR बांधायची काय गरज आहे? ओके, हा प्रश्न. तर why? Because GSR is simply for storage. Simply for storage for the maximum quantity, and ESR we need to provide the water to the public by the gravity with the optimal pressure, and hence ESR need to be constructed. मग जर GSR नसेल आणि ESR असेल तर तेवढीच क्वांटिटी तुम्हाला प्रिझर्व, म्हणजे 1000 लिटर कॅपॅसिटी असेल तुमच्या ESR ची, किंवा फार फार तर 10,000 लिटर पर्यंत तुम्ही जाऊ शकता. त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्त कॅपॅसिटी थोडस, इट इज 1 lakh liter capacity may be there, 10 lakh liter capacity may be there, but more than this is the quite difficult. But here in the GSR there is no limitation, only the required land is required. Okay, so जर ESR असेल तरी सुद्धा GSR बांधावा लागतो, कारण ESR हा there is a two task, to store the water as well as to make available water to the public by the gravity. जर ESR नसेल तर तुम्हाला GSR मधून पब्लिकला वॉटर सप्लाय करायचं असेल तर काय करावं लागेल, तर ते तुम्हाला तिथून पंपिंग करावं लागेल डायरेक्ट, प्रत्येकाला ते पंपिंग थ्रू गेलं पाहिजे. फॉर each individual consumer the water will be provided through pumping, and that is not economic, not possible. That's why ESR, we can pump the water up to the less distance, that is what ESR. लगेच तिथं चिटकून तुम्ही ESR कन्स्ट्रक्ट करू शकता GSR च्या शेजारीच, आणि त्यामुळे फक्त कमी डिस्टन्स साठीच तुम्हाला तो पंप करावा लागतो. आणि मग ते तिथं पंप केलं, एकदा ESR मध्ये गेलं की ग्राउंड लेवलला बाय ग्रॅव्हिटी आपण प्रोव्हाइड करू शकतो. Understood? Why GSR and why ESR both are required? So the answer is both are required. Only in the case म्हणजे की ट्रीटमेंट प्लांटच खूप हाय लेवलला आहे, हाय मीन सी लेवलला आहे, आणि त्याच्यापेक्षा ज्या गावाला, ज्या सिटीला, ज्या लोकेशनला पाणी पुरवायचं आहे, दॅट लोकेशन इज ॲट व्हेरी लो लाइंग एरिया. Okay, so this is ground storage reservoir GSR. We'll see what is the ESR. This is the ESR. Simply we are constructing ESR to provide the water to the public by the gravity. Sufficient pressure they will get at their consumer point. Okay, so this is the ESR. So another option to ESR is we can go for the means there should be the very high elevation, high level, means sea level, the treatment plant must be constructed, and from that the low lying area may get water directly by the gravity, but it is never economical to provide the water to the consumer by the pumping. So instead of that, we can go for the pumping from GSR to ESR. Okay. Now the next one is the SSR, means the surface storage reservoir. This small ground surface level reservoir can be constructed like this, or big one can also be constructed like this. म्हणजे तो surface reservoir कधी म्हणायचं त्याला की some depth will be there under the ground and some depth, some height will be there above the surface. That is the surface storage reservoir. म्हणजे जर अंडरग्राउंड कन्स्ट्रक्ट करणं खूप कॉस्टलीयर जात असेल किंवा ते मेंटेनन्सला डिफिकल्ट होत असेल तर त्या केसमध्ये यू कॅन गो फॉर द सरफेस स्टोरेज रिझर्वायर. ओके, सो इट इज इझी टू maintain. That's why we can go for surface storage reservoir. Otherwise, ground storage reservoir is the giving huge capacity to store the water. Understood? These are the three types of reservoir. One is the GSR, second one ESR, and third one is the SSR. Have you noted down these types of reservoir? So please note down types of distribution reservoir, and everywhere you can write down in big bracket ground storage reservoir GSR, elevated storage reservoir ESR, and surface storage reservoir SSR. Please note down. Then we'll proceed. Have you copied?
Yes,
I knew that how much time is required you guys to complete, but why I'm asking again, I want your involvement, guys, and that's why I'm asking. One or two students are replying, others are not replying, and that I'm keeping in my memory. Okay. Now storage reservoir capacity. आता किती किती कपॅसिटीचा रिझर्वायर बांधलाय याचं पाहिजे, याचं थोडंसं तुम्हाला कॅल्क्युलेशन करणं गरजेचं आहे. अँड हाऊ यू कॅन डिसाइड द कपॅसिटी ऑफ स्टोरेज रिझर्वायर. Storage capacity of reservoir. The total capacity of reservoir is a summation of balanced storage reservoir, breakdown storage, and fire storage. Please note down this point. I will explain what is balanced storage reservoir, what is breakdown storage, and what is fire storage. Please note down.
done, ma'am.
Over?
Yes,
Over?
ma'am.
Okay. Storage capacity of reservoir can be divided into 3, or we can say summation of storage reservoir is of balanced storage reservoir, breakdown storage, and fire storage. Now, what is mean by balanced storage reservoir? Just now we have discussed a lot about the fluctuation in a demand of water. Fluctuation may be daily fluctuation, maybe weekly fluctuation, maybe due to sudden events, okay, functions that demand may increases. So that demand we need to balance. As I said, we cannot increase the rate of treatment, but we can treat with a regular process, and we can store, and whenever required a peak demand is increasing, at that time we can make available the water for supply, water supply. Okay, so that is the balancing storage reservoir. Okay, so I will read that balance. What is balancing storage? The quantity of water required to be stored in the reservoir for equalizing or balancing fluctuating demand against a constant supply is known as balancing storage. The balanced storage can be worked out by using the mass curve method. So in the next lecture, I'm going to take the mass curve method. So you just understand, mass curve method is a method through which we can take a judgment what is the demand in respect of balancing storage. Okay, so that we will take in a next lecture. Actually, yesterday I formatted my PC. My laptop, new laptop is there, and I have to take data from that laptop to this laptop, and hence that mass curve method piece is now not available with me currently. But in the next lecture, or as time permits, after that 5th chapter also we can take that mass curve method, because in a 6th chapter there is no such much data, much material to be studied in a 6th chapter. So no worry about the syllabus completion also. Okay, so in the mass curve method, I will explain how to find out the balancing storage, but that I'm not going to take now. So please note down this point only. Okay, so once again, I will explain what is the balancing storage, the capacity of water required to be stored in the reservoir for equalizing or balancing fluctuating demand against constant supply is known as the balancing storage, or equalizing or operating storage. The balanced storage can be worked out by using the mass curve method. Then the second one is the breakdown storage. First one is the balancing storage against fluctuation. Okay, peak demand is there, in that case we can go for. Then the breakdown storage. The breakdown storage, or often called emergency storage, is the storage reservoir in order to tide over the emergencies posed by the failure of pumps, electricity, or any other mechanism driving the pumps. A value of about 25% of the total storage capacity of reservoir, or 1.5 to 2 times of the average hourly supply, may be considered as enough provision for the accounting this storage. Okay, कळालं का बघा तुम्हाला? बॅलन्सिंग स्टोरेज म्हणजे काय की ऍक्च्युअल डिमांड तुमचं, पण ते ऍक्च्युअल डिमांड हे कॉन्स्टंट कन्सिडर केलं जातं. But sometimes due to fluctuating demand is possible, and the reason behind maybe the sudden events are coming, or some season to season also demand is changing. That particular demand is nothing but for to meet that particular demand, whatever storage we need to go for in a storage, that is known as the balancing storage. Okay, in a reservoir, that is known as the balancing storage. So it is a judgment. We are taking a judgment to what capacity of distribution reservoir needs to be constructed. As we take a judgment for any single activity. Okay, so if we want to prepare a food for family, food in the evening, then what we think, what number of members in the family, suppose 4 members, each required 2 chapati, so multiplied by 4 is equal to 8 is required. Okay, but someone may get need one more chapati. At that time, it should not be like this. 8 are there, and we should take the food of 8 chapati only. We should not go for the more than that required. So what we do, we keep some support, what we substitute of one more chapati. 9 or 10 we go for. Okay, to meet that fluctuation demand in respect of chapati by that family. That is the balancing storage. Means what the regular requirements as it is, whatever may be the population of that particular city. Suppose 10 lakh population, according to 10 lakh multiplied by whatever is the requirement, standard requirement of that particular city. Suppose 100 ml, liter per capita per head is the requirement of Pandharpur city. Suppose we are considering, and the 10 lakh is the population. So 10 lakh multiplied by 100, we can find out the this much storage is required to be in respect of balancing storage. Okay, but in that balancing, we are making the statement balancing to balance the fluctuation. म्हणजे कधी पाहुणे जास्त येतात, कधी ऍक्टिव्हिटीज वाढतात, कधी इव्हेंट्स असतात, त्यामुळे क्लिनिंग वाढतं. So in that case, that factor we need to be considered, and that is nothing but the balancing storage. Then what quantity needs to be considered in under the balancing storage? That can be judged, that can be calculated by using the Mascaro method or analytical method. There are two different methods which can be used, and through that you can understand what is the quantity we should consider under the balancing storage. But आता जसं मी एक्झाम्पल दिलं की 8 chapatis are required and we are making the 9 or 10 chapatis. It's a judgment for balancing the requirements. Okay, then there is one more requirement is possible. Suddenly someone may come. In that case, shall we go for preparation of food once again? Shall we make there is a possibility someone will come, that you know, but it is not like this. You cannot consider them and you cannot prepare. If they come, then I will go for the one more time preparation of food. I cannot go for, is it? So likewise, that also we are considering into balancing storage. Then breakdown storage. Breakdown storage, in the breakdown storage, many of the times the pumps are the moving equipments, electrical equipments. High chances to have the breakdown of the pumps or the pipelines or the electricity dropping may be there. And sometimes maybe the pump breakdown is there. It requires to get maintained 2 or 3 days. Okay. And in that case, how we can live without water for 2 to 3 days? Our plant may be not working, but water must be available in a storage reservoir, and which can be made available to the public by the gravity, is it? So that is known as the breakdown storage. So I will read that through the slide. Breakdown storage is often called emergency storage. Is the storage preserved in order to tide over the emergencies posed by the failure of pumps, failure of electricity, or any other mechanism driving the pumps. And what quantity we can take? A thumb rule is created, and from that thumb rule, it is a value of about 25% of total storage capacity of reservoir. Okay, जर 100 लिटर लागत असेल तर तुम्ही 125 लिटर कन्सिडर करायचे. 1000 लागत असतील तर तुम्हाला 1250 लिटर कन्सिडर करावं लागेल. ठीक आहे. और 1.5 to 2 times of the average hourly supply. कुठला तरी एक फॅक्टर घ्यायचा. बरोबर आहे. A value of about 25% of the total storage reservoir capacity of reservoir, किंवा तो 1.5 to 2 times of the average hourly supply may be considered as enough provision for accounting the storage. Okay, you are constructing, you are deciding to decide the capacity of storage reservoir, and for that purpose you are taking judgment how much capacity of storage reservoir must be there. And in that case you are taking 3 different requirements. First is the balancing, that will be X amount. Then breakdown storage, that will be Y amount. and also there is a Z, that is fire storage. म्हणजे मी फायर ब्रेकडाऊनच्या वेळेला फर्स्ट चॅप्टर मध्येच आपण डिस्कस केलं की वी कॅनॉट से दॅट टुडे फायर ब्रोकन मे नॉट बी देअर. वी कॅनॉट अज्युम दॅट. कुणीतरी म्हणेल की आज खूप पाऊस पडतोय आणि त्यामुळे फायर डिमांड असणारच नाहीये. पण बिल्डिंग मोठी असेल आणि आतच तिथं शॉर्ट सर्किट झालं आणि जळायला सुरुवात झालं तर वरून पाऊस येतोय आणि मग तो कधीतरी आत उतरेल बाहेर किंवा बाहेर जळाल्यानंतर तो विझेल. Shall we take that way risk? No, we need to control by firing the water, and that's why we must keep ready that quantum for the control of fires. Okay, so that demand is known as the fire storage. The third component of the total reservoir storage is fire storage. This provision takes care of requirements of water for extinguishing fires. A provision of 1 to 4 liter actually 1 to 4 liter per person per day is sufficient to meet the requirement. Kiti? Per head per day against 1 to 4 liter capacity we must keep ready against the fire storage. And mag ya summation of these three factors, that is balancing storage reservoir capacity, breakdown storage reservoir capacity, and fire storage reservoir capacity will be the final capacity of your distribution reservoir. Understood? So I request to note down this balancing storage first, little fast, and if possible we will start the next chapter. I don't think it will be possible, still at least note down please. Storage capacity of distribution reservoir. First write down balancing storage. Over. Shall I go to the next point? Are you done, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, please note down breakdown storage and fire storage. Here, our fourth chapter is over. And in the next lecture, we will start the chapter number 5. That is much more interesting than this. Once you finish, then at the end, I will take the attendance. At 12:28, I will take the attendance. Till that time, please finish it.
Completed, ma'am.
Okay, good. Shall we stop here or we need, shall we start? Still 5-6 minutes are there. Okay, just overlook we will take. Okay. So unit number 5, we are going to, in a unit number 5, title of the unit number 5 is the distribution of water. Okay, the actual distribution कसं करायचं, काय provision करावी लागते, that we will study. In that first, we are going to study water distribution systems, methods of distributing water, then system configuration, appurtenances, then basic systems, then requirements, hydraulic analysis, head balance method, then quantity balance method, and equivalent pipe concept. Okay, so on the equivalent pipe concept, we are going to some 1-2 examples we need to solve. Okay, so this part we are going to study in a distribution of water, chapter number 5. So what is the water distribution system? So the main purpose of distribution system is to deliver water to consumer with appropriate quality, quantity, and pressure. What is the main purpose? To deliver the water to consumer with appropriate quality, quantity, and pressure. We cannot compromise in respect of quality. We cannot compromise in respect of quantity and also pressure. Okay. Then the distribution system is used to describe collectively the facilities used to supply water from its source to point of usage. Regarding distribution system is used to describe collectively the facilities used to supply water from its source. From its source म्हणजे काय? Treatment plant मधून. Disinfection process मधून बाहेर पडलं की ते GSR ला जातं. GSR मधून ते पंप करून ESR मध्ये घेतलं जातं आणि आता ESR पासून पब्लिक पर्यंत पोहोचण्यासाठीच्या कंप्लीट फॅसिलिटीला काय म्हटलं जातं तर डिस्ट्रीब्युशन सिस्टीम. ते ESR पण डिस्ट्रीब्युशन सिस्टीम मध्ये कन्सिडर होतं. ओके, सो फ्रॉम सोर्स टू पॉइंट ऑफ युसेज म्हणजे until the water is dropping into your sink from ESR, this entire facilities in that period, whatever the facilities are required, are considered as the distribution system. Regarding from that spot to this spot, whatever the systems, accessories, requirements are there, that is known as the distribution system. Now, in the distribution system, what kind of distribution system is a network of pipelines that distribute water to the consumers. They are designed to adequately satisfy the water requirement for a combination of, for what purpose? For domestic purpose, म्हणजे घरामध्ये drinking, washing, cleaning, floor cleaning, bathing, all these activities. Then commercial in the sense offices, institutes. Okay, so that is commercial. Then industrial. In respect of industry, if there are the industries in nearby area, in that case, industrial demand needs to be considered. Otherwise, it is not required. Okay. Then the last one is the firefighting demand. So for these many purposes, we need to provide the water to the public, and that is nothing but the water distribution system. Okay. So we will stop here and let me take your attendance. Let me take your attendance. Okay. Guys, you can leave now. I have noted down your attendance. Thank you.